Hi.
Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon, all of you. Good afternoon. Good afternoon. Okay, so we have to start electromagnetic induction discussions. So there are two parts of electromagnetic induction actually. One part is the motional EMF, and other part is the induced electric field concepts. So so we know that the EMF is created whenever there is a flux change, and EMF is equal to B dot A, so which we can write it as BA cos theta. So either the flux is changing because of change in magnetic field, or the flux is changing not because of change in magnetic field, but because of angle and A. So this part you can call this as a induced electric field part, and d by dt of A cos theta into B. This part is for motional EMF. Now, normally these two are not linked together, which means that normally what will happen is, like in a particular situation or in a particular question which is given to you, like if you are solving, let's say 100 questions in EMI, out of which let's say 40 to 45 will be based on induced electric field, 40 to 45 will be based on motional EMF, and only remaining 10 to 15 will be the one in which both things are happening together. The induced electric field is also there and the motional EMF is also there, but the kind of questions are limited and less number only. Now, as far as the motional EMF is considered, what can change is A can change and theta can change. So A can change, very simple, like railroad questions, you know. So in railroad questions, we have got
Rod is small.
yeah. So the A changes because of the motion of the slider, and there is a resistance here like this connecting the two rails. So here this area changes. So this is a very classical example of motional EMF. And the second case is when theta changes, when there is a loop given to you and it is rotating about an axis, because of which the theta, which is the angle between B vector and A vector, is changed. In both the cases, B vector will be given constant. In a typical railroad system, B vector is given normally perpendicular to the plane of the motion, to the plane of the area. And in this case, B vector will be given to be in a particular direction, and area vector direction will keep changing because of rotation. Area vector being perpendicular to the surface. So because of the rotation of the area vector will also be rotated. So angle will keep changing, because of which there is a motional EMF. Now, why do we call both of these as motional EMF? Is because the EMF is generated because of the motion of the conducting object. So here, whether there is a rod which is translating with a velocity v, or there is a conducting closed loop which is rotating. In both the cases, it is the motion of conductors in a constant magnetic field or non-changing magnetic field, which creates the charge separation. And so you know the origin of motional EMF, like because of the motion of a object, what happens is the charges get separated, because of which there is an electric field which is uh, generated because of charge separation, and that is on conservative electric field which is generated because of charge separation, which is what is responsible for motional EMF. So assuming that those basics are clear, let us go ahead. Now, there are typical situations in motional EMF that we can discuss. Typically railroad system. Then there are a lot of variations in railroad system. Like in case of railroad system, either you can have a single movable rod. So this rod is actually and then there is a stationary resistor. So this is a stationary. So what is given is, let's say it is given a constant velocity v, or it is not given any velocity, but a constant force starts to act. Or maybe the constant force is not acting, but a variable force is acting. And then with all these three things, like velocity given initially, or force applied constant, or force applied variable, apart from this, like there can be a capacitor which is placed here. So there can be a capacitor only without any resistance, or there can be capacitor and resistance both. And in both the cases, again, velocity can be given or force can be applied. Or sometimes what happens is, instead of a capacitor, inductor is put,
Yes, sir.
or maybe a battery is put sometimes. Those kind of situations are also there. And this is about one rod only. And many times we are given two rods also. So most of us have got a lot of experience in solving the single rod questions, because those are plenty in number in HC Verma, and HC Verma has covered all possible situations, all possible in case of a single rod system. However, sometimes what happens is there are multiple rods which are movable. So instead of a fixed resistance, so here we have another rod. And obviously, in 99.99% of the questions, these railroads themselves are conducting. Otherwise, it creates complications in calculating the resistance of the circuit. Imagine this railroad was also having some resistance, and that resistance you will write it as rho L by. The thing is that because of the movement of this rod, this length of the railroad, which is a part of the circuit, that will keep changing. So resistance of the circuit will keep changing. That creates unnecessary complications which are avoided by assuming that railroads themselves are purely conducting and only the rods which are translating are only having some finite resistance.
Yes,
So that is the simplification we do in 99.9999% of the questions. In fact, I've seen very rarely questions in which drill rods themselves were having resistance. Okay.
Yes, sir.
So what I think is that if this single rod thing is okay for you, then we can move on to this multiple rod system.
yes, sir.
Okay. So the situation is like this. There is a magnetic field out of the plane. So let us discuss one by one. See, the thing is here, it is important to understand what's going to happen and how the things will progress. And if that thing is understood perfectly, then the calculations will become very, very easy. In fact, calculation will become like 1 minute only. So if you're spending some 5 or 6 minutes in the question, 4 minutes to understand what's happening, and last 1 minute for doing some mathematical calculation. So let's say the question is like this. There is a magnetic field, and let's say this rod is having a resistance R. And if you want, you can put another resistance R here, doesn't matter. The situation will be remaining same only. Like the total resistance, whether you want to write it as R or you want to write it as 2R, only thing it affects is the current. And this rod has mass M1, this rod has mass M2, and the magnetic field is out of the plane. The distance between the two rails is L. And what is happening is this M2 rod is given a velocity V naught. So after that, we have to analyze what is happening. And once we understand what is happening, we can find out that different things as a function of time or at a steady state, if at all steady state is reachable. So think about this in a
The
minute.
amount is movable, sir.
Yeah, M1 and M2, yes. M1 is also movable, M2 is also movable. That's why mass is given. For example, in this case, the resistances are fixed. Let's say there is no capacitor here. So if these resistances are fixed, generally we don't give mass because they are not moving. So what we will do with mass also. So M1 is moving, so its mass is given. Initially, M1 is given 0 velocity. No velocity given to M1. Only M2 is given a velocity V naught towards right. What will happen? So that's the question.
First, there will be EMF induced, sir, which will cause current in the circuit, sir.
Okay.
And because of the current in the circuit, M1 will also have a force,
Yes, sir.
Okay.
which will try to stop that flux change, sir.
Correct. Go ahead. Then
After that, it will
Start moving in the direction as M2.
M2 will also have force, sir.
okay, correct. M2 will also have
And,
force.
and you will
So
write the acceleration as dv by dt, sir.
okay, okay. Okay. Fine. So all these things you're saying is fine only. Now, first of all, tell me the direction of current. Clockwise or anti-clockwise?
So clockwise, sir.
Yeah. Correct. The current is clockwise. Now, can we say that M1 will gain velocity, M2 will lose velocity?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Can we say that the gain in velocity of M1 and loss in velocity of M2 will be same?
The force will be same, sir, but because mass is different, acceleration will be different.
Yeah. Can we say that gain in momentum of M1 and loss in momentum of M2 will be same?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay. They both are going to gain just once again. Hello, good afternoon, ma'am. Hello, Rajeshwari, ma'am. Ma'am, are you available tomorrow or today, like, for taking class for our Einstein students? Anytime of your convenience. In the afternoon, is it okay? 2:30? Okay, ma'am. Then I'll put message in the group tomorrow. Einstein. Ma'am, actually, I kept your class on Wednesday, but the timetable was clashing. So just like that, I told the oh, Wednesday you got the class, huh? Yeah, yeah. And Einstein, ma'am, Wednesday, like Einstein, yeah, Einstein is student, 11th class. Okay, on Wednesday only you had the class, no? No, no, already like you took 2 classes, na, ma'am? Yes, yes, ma'am. Okay, okay. Then maybe one more class, okay, you have taken 2 classes, na? Okay, ma'am. Okay, then no need. Like only 2 classes are there per week. Okay, ma'am. Okay. Actually, on Wednesday, timetable was clashing between CVK sir and biology class. So that's why I say that. No, in Wednesday evening you had class, ma'am. Wednesday evening. Wednesday was yesterday only. Yesterday you took. Yeah, 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 yeah. So that is 5:30 class evening. Yeah, yeah. And did you have class in the afternoon also yesterday? Yeah, yeah, yeah. So yesterday actually I scheduled a class for you Wednesday, but the thing is timetable was clashing. So just like that, I told the students, okay, we will shift the class to Thursday. Mm, okay, ma'am. Then I'll put it in the group that tomorrow 2 to 4. Okay. 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 So the thing is, they will get the same force, magnitude wise. The force on M1, if you do L cross B, that force will be towards right, and this force will be towards left. Because of same force, same rate of change of momentum. So M1 increases its momentum because of this force, and M2's momentum increases because of, sorry, M2's momentum decreases because of another force opposite to its velocity. Okay, then what will happen? The velocity will keep increasing, decreasing. After that, what will happen? Will M2's velocity reduce to 0 and M1's velocity increase to, let's say, some V naught or something? Like,
Both will try to become equal.
okay, okay. Okay, so you are saying that after some time, both their velocity will become same.
Sir, term velocity, sir. Remove
Sir,
the same.
both their momentum should become same. No?
Momentum becomes same or velocity becomes same?
The velocity becomes same only. There won't be any change in flux, sir.
Yeah, correct. So it is the velocity which will become same, not the momentum. Initially, momentum was different, and momentum may always be different because masses are different. But it is always the velocity. Because so the thing is, what will happen? Let's say if we plot the velocity.
So then flux will become 0, sir.
Yeah. So let's draw the velocity time graph. Flux will become constant actually, not 0. So
Change in flux.
so velocity versus time, if you plot, so one velocity is decreasing, other velocity is increasing. So this is the velocity of M1, and the other one is the velocity of M2. So, and let's say their velocity becomes same at time t. Actually, this time we will check may come out to be infinity also. But I've just assumed that at some time it happens, let's say. Now, before this time, M2 was having more velocity. So what is happening to the area? Area of the loop is increasing or area of the loop is decreasing because M2 was having more velocity than M1
Increasing, sir.
before this time T0.
Same.
Then you said something that area is increasing or
Yes, sir. Increasing, sir.
increasing. So area is increasing means, so what is the direction of current?
So clockwise.
Clockwise, sir.
Clockwise. So this clockwise current will keep flowing because of the continuous increase in area, and this clockwise current is reducing M2, increasing M1, and this keeps happening until they get same velocity. Once they get same velocity,
The net EMF induced to be zero, sir. So,
yeah, correct.
Area will become
Perfect.
constant, sir.
Either you can say that their common velocity, let's say v, and once their velocity has become same, you can say that they both have become a battery of same EMF BLV.
And current flow will be 0, sir.
Current flow will become zero because they are trying to get the current in opposite direction. This is one way of understanding that overall EMF has become zero. Other way to say is that because they both have same velocity now, the area will not be changing. Because whatever distance M1 will move, same distance M2 will move. So distance between them will remain constant. And so that is called a steady state. So here there will be a steady state in which both will gain same velocity. Now, how much is the common velocity? Can we do momentum conservation?
yes, sir, because force and both bodies are same. Net system net external for zero.
Correct. So both are getting same magnitude of force, but in opposite direction. So net force on the system is zero. So this ILB force and this ILB force are same. And so we can say that their final velocity will be same, which can be calculated from momentum conservation because momentum of the system of two rods is always constant because net force on the system is always zero. So we will say that, okay, M2 V0 is the initial momentum, which will be equal to M1 plus M2 into the common velocity V. So first of all, we can find out the common velocity V, which is M2 V0 by M1 plus M2. Now someone will ask, if this is R1, let's say this is R and this is 2R. Someone will ask, what is the heat generated, total heat generated in R? What is the total heat generated in R? Then how will you find it out?
Depend kinetic energy change, sir.
Correct. Very good. So at the steady state, when current has become zero, after that there is no heat generated. So heat is generated only up to the time when current is there, and current is there only up to the time flux is changing, and flux is changing only up to the time velocities are different. So once velocity becomes same, everything stops, like the current flow, heat generated, etc., etc. So whatever heat has been generated until that time, that heat is coming from loss in kinetic energy. So you can say that initial kinetic energy minus final kinetic energy, that is equal to loss in kinetic energy, and loss in kinetic energy is equal to heat. Now, heat total. Heat generated will be in the ratio of the resistances because the same current is there. If the same current is going to flow I, now heat generated per unit time is I square R. Because the resistance are like R and 2R, heat generated per unit time is like X and 2X. So total heat generated will be like H and 2H. So if H is the heat generated
Maybe H by 2 for the
in
other
R,
distance.
yeah, for 2H, the heat generated will be 2R. I mean 2H. Total heat generated is 3H. So total heat is 3H. So this total heat generated 3H will come from the reduction in kinetic energy, which we have already calculated. So you can find out the heat generated also in this case. The only thing apart from this which may be asked is the velocity as a function of time. For that, you need to solve the differential equation. You'll get an exponential decrease, increase, something like that you'll get.
Yes, sir.
Okay. In fact, now I remember the velocity VT graph will be like this. So this is the common velocity. So one will be decreasing from the common velocity. Other will be like this. So earlier I draw this intersecting graph now. This T naught.
Yes,
Actually,
T naught
the
is
time at,
infinity, sir.
yeah, at infinity only their velocities will become same. So you have to write only two equations. Let me just help you with the two equations also. But this transient thing is not asked normally. Only steady state values like heat generated or final velocity, these that kind of things only asked. But if at all they are asking, let's say somehow. So let's say at some time this velocity is v1, this velocity is v2. Then you'll write BIL is equal to m1 into dv1 by dt. Similarly, minus BIL m2 into dv2 by dt. Okay. Now you can write. So we have assumed R and 2R. What is the EMF? Overall EMF is equal to BLV2 minus BLV1. Now this BLV2 minus BLV1 divided by 3R. This is the current. Okay. Now what you can do is you can subtract equation 1 and 2 after taking the m term on the other side. So you can write BIL by m1. So what we are doing is we are dividing both sides by m1
Yes, sir.
and by m2. So BIL by m1, it will become plus BIL by m2. And this getting cancelled. So we are subtracting. So we will get V2 minus V1 actually we want. So we will put a negative sign. Okay. Now this BL into 1 by m1 plus 1 by m2 into I. I can be written as BL by 3R into V2 minus V1. And there is a negative sign. And this is d by dt of V2 minus V1. So this V2 minus V1, you take it as some new variable x. So this is x. So you are getting of the form of dx by dt is equal to minus some constant into x. So again, you'll get like dx by x is equal to minus c dt, and then integrate. Initially the relative, so v2 minus v1 is relative velocity, which was v naught initially,
0, sir.
and after some time it will become v. Yeah, after infinite time it will become v. So this v, so this relative velocity, let's say it becomes x. Relative velocity x is equal to v naught e raised to minus constant into t. Initial relative velocity is v naught, and this constant is how much? So this constant is like this part. So this is the constant c. But more or less I'm saying that it's not asked this kind of thing. But even if it is asked, like it is a simple integration. So this was case number 1 in two rods. Let's talk about another one. So here we have a railroad system. So or better to copy it from the previous one. Now this time what we are doing is, instead of giving a velocity, let's say we start applying a constant force. Initially both were at rest. Initially the velocity was 0 for both. Now a constant force. starts acting. On M2 towards right. Again, you have to figure out like what is going to happen. Like previously, we figured out that there is going to be a steady state when velocity will become same, when current will become zero, when kinetic energy will become constant, and there is a particular value of heat generated. Here, in this case, what will happen? So this you have to figure out. Take some time.
Sir,
Yeah, tell me.
sir, I think here also initially that the current will be clockwise direction, sir,
Okay.
and the flux will keep on increasing, sir, till a time will come when M1 will get a more force than M2, and they'll have the same velocity, sir.
They're saying finally they have same velocity.
So like M1 will get more higher force than M2, sir.
M1 is initially having higher force than M2.
That's not initially, sir. As time progresses, sir, M1 will get higher force than M2, sir.
Okay. So what will happen finally? Ultimately, like what is the final thing?
1 minute, sir. Mistake, sir.
Sir,
Yeah, tell me.
sir, it will be like a spring connected between two block and we give a constant force F to one block. The motion will be like that, I think. Sir.
Can you tell me what will happen if we connect a spring?
Springs, I thought the motion will be similar. Like
No, you are saying that this is similar to what happens in case of spring. So tell me what happens in case of spring.
sir, the first the M2 will start moving, sir. M1 also get little force due to the induction.
Okay.
Then after some time, again they get like same velocity, I think, sir. That
Same velocity is possible.
force will be that F will be cancelled by the induced force.
Sir, finally, velocity cannot be same, sir, because like F will always keep doing work on M2, sir. So that work will be given out as heat as current due to current, sir.
Sir, I not consider that R, sir.
Oh, R means like okay, resistance is there. R R2 R you can take it. Okay, okay. So what is happening finally? Ultimately, like after a long time, what will happen?
Sir, I don't think steady state will be reached here, sir.
So what kind of thing will be reaching? Like what? That's what I'm asking. Like what is going to happen ultimately? Okay.
Center of mass
Uh,
going
Sir,
right
center of mass.
will always be accelerating towards right, sir.
Center of mass will always be accelerating. Okay, correct.
And final velocity also can't be same, sir.
Final velocity also can't be same. Okay.
sir.
Yeah.
So I found a differential equation, sir, similar to SHM, sir.
SHM is happening.
So like like relative distance, sir. I took capital H as the distance between those two, sir. I'm getting d square h by dt square equal to some constant into h, sir.
That's not SHM equation. D square S by dt square is equal to some constant into S. This is what you're getting, huh?
Yes, yes, sir.
This is not SHM. K positive or K negative?
Like K is some very big constant, sir. In terms of force, B, L, M1, M2, and resistance, sir.
So is it positive or is it negative?
One second, sir.
If it is positive, then there is no SHM. If it is negative, then there is an SHM. Okay, anyway, rather than thinking about equations, we can try to understand it logically. Now, sometimes we have to depend, I agree, like sometimes we have to depend upon mathematics only. In case of capacitors, especially,
Yes, sir.
like it's almost next to impossible, like to predict what's going to happen. So, but still we can do that. But once, if you have done the calculations in case of capacitors, it becomes much more this thing like
So I made
okay,
a small mistake, sir.
okay, no
Like
issues.
I took some term outside, sir, but one of the term wasn't even having that inside it, sir.
Okay. All right. Now, initially, who will have more acceleration, M1 or M2?
Initially M2, sir.
M2. M2 is having more acceleration, and M1 is having less acceleration. Who gains more velocity? Obviously, the one which is having more acceleration.
M2, sir.
So V2 is greater than V1. Okay. Why? Because the force on M1 is like almost zero initially. How much is the initial current? Initial current is zero. Initial current is zero. What is the current, by the way? BL into V2 minus V1. This is the EMF divided by total resistance, which you want to write it as R plus 2R. Initially, there is no current. So there is no force on M1. But there is a force on M2. So because of this force F, M2 will start to accelerate. As soon as M2 starts to accelerate, as soon as M2 gains velocity. Obviously, initially it will gain tiny velocity only, negligible, maybe only 1 meter per second. Because some velocity is there, although less. Why? Because just now it has started to move. Let's say this force has acted for, let's say, 2 seconds only. So in 2 seconds, let's say it has got very less velocity. So with a tiny velocity, there is a tiny EMF. And because of tiny EMF, there is a tiny current. This tiny current is there. This tiny current will apply a tiny force on M1. And this tiny force on M1 divided by M1 will give it a tiny acceleration. So M1's acceleration will be very, very small. Whereas M2's acceleration is quite good amount. because this capital F is quite a substantial value. Sorry, but this M2 will also get this tiny force, but this tiny force will not be able to cancel out the effect of capital F. So the conclusion is, as M2 starts moving initially, it will accelerate towards right, and its acceleration is quite a very large value as compared to the acceleration of M1, whose acceleration is very small because force on M1 is very small, because force depends on current is very small, and current is very small because EMF is right now very small, and EMF is very small because velocity gained is very small, and velocity gained is very small because just now the system has started to respond to the external force F. So acceleration will be less for M2. If you want to plot acceleration versus time, so what is happening is acceleration of M2 is increasing. Sorry, M1. And acceleration of M2 is decreasing. Why? Obviously, because, yeah, go ahead. If we talk about M1, there is a BIL force. If we talk about M2, there is an external force F and there is a backward BIL.
Yes.
Let's say initially F was very large, maybe 100 Newton. But this BIL force was like 1 Newton on. So almost like 99 Newton versus 1 Newton. So acceleration of M2 was more. But because of more acceleration M2, it gains more velocity V2. So gain in V2 is more gain. V1 less gain. So what is happening to the difference? Increasing. So what is happening to the current? Increasing. And because of current increasing, what happens to BIL force? Increase. Now let's say because of this BIL force increases, current increases, so BIL increases, this has become 10 Newton. So how much is our net force now? So okay, for the sake of simplicity, we will assume same mass. I hope you will be okay with same mass.
Yes.
Because we want to okay, or we can take different mass also. Let's say different mass, maybe let's say same mass only, but we'll take later different mass also. So 10 Newton, so this becomes 90 and this becomes 10. So still acceleration of M2 is more and still acceleration of M1 is less. So M2 gains more velocity, M1 gains less velocity. So the difference will again increase. And when the difference increases between the velocity, current will increase. And current increases means this will become like 40 Newton and this will become like 40 Newton. So what is the net force on M1, M2? 100 minus 40. And what is this force? 40. Still 60 is greater than 40. So who will have more acceleration? M2. So M2 more acceleration, M1 less acceleration. So V2 gain is more, V1 gain is less. So difference in the velocity will keep increasing, current will increase. Again, current increases means what will happen? Now current increases means BIL increases. Let's say this BIL has become like 50. Now what is there? Same force only. And I have taken the mass to be same. And force is also coming out to be same. So force same, 50 Newton, because BIL is 50. So if same force is there, then same acceleration. And same acceleration means same gain. But if, let's say, just before this instant, velocity was v2, velocity was v1, same gain delta v happens. If same gain will happen, what will happen to the difference? Difference will remain unchanged. If difference remains unchanged, what will happen to current? Current will also remain unchanged. If current remains unchanged, then force will also remain unchanged, 50-50.
Yes, sir.
So if force remains unchanged, that means they will have same force only, 50-50. And same force means same acceleration. So if same acceleration now, then after next dt time, because of same force, same increase in velocity. And when same increase in velocity happens, change in difference in the velocity remains unchanged because both increases by same amount. And difference in velocity remains unchanged, so current remains unchanged. And if current remains unchanged, force remains unchanged. Force remains unchanged, acceleration remains unchanged, same acceleration. Same acceleration will give again same increase in velocity. And same increase in velocity will give unchanged value of difference between the velocity. Unchanged value of difference between the velocity will give same current. And same. So this cycle will keep repeating. So what is happening finally? Can anyone tell what's happening in steady state?
So relative velocity become constant, sir.
And
PSC become zero, sir.
constant, sir, and both of them move with same accelerations.
Yeah.
Sir,
Ultimately, yeah, yes. Tell me.
so I found my new equation. Is that also same result I'm getting, sir?
Correct. So you
I'm
should
getting
get
same
it.
I'm getting same acceleration, sir.
Okay, very nice. See, once you are able to figure out what is happening finally, then only you will be able to do the question. And here, finally, what will happen is acceleration becomes same. Acceleration becomes same means delta v, which is the difference in velocity, become constant. Ultimately, at a steady state, or finally after a long time. And difference in velocity remains same. So current remains unchanged. But velocity will keep increasing. Both of their velocity will keep increasing. V1, V2 both keeps increasing. Both increases.
But the
But
change
at
is constant, sir.
constant rate. But at same rate. Same constant rate. Current will become constant. See, in the previous case, when velocity was just given, V0 is given, no force acting. Only V0 is given. We got the current to be 0. But in this case, we are not getting current to be 0. We are getting current to be constant. Now someone asks us, okay, current is constant. Tell me what is that current? Okay, acceleration is constant. Tell me that acceleration. For that, you don't have to solve differential equation. Differential equation needs to be solved only when something as a function of time is asked. If someone asks you what is the final current after a long time, don't stupidly try to solve equations.
So the acceleration is center of
Differential equation.
sir. So you can use that and
Yeah. Ultimately, you have to understand that A is same for both. This is the logic you have to understand. Now, equate the acceleration and your job is done. M1, M2.
F/2B will say.
So you make their acceleration same. BIL by M is equal to F minus BIL by M. And from there you will get the final current. Why there is a need to even solve differential equation? The final current is F into M1 M2 by M1 plus M2 BL. I think I made a mistake
No,
here.
M2 will also come in numerator, sir. Like,
Yeah. Let me just rub this. So we have to find out the current. I will take current common, and B and L also I will take. Okay, F by M2 was there now.
yes, sir.
Yeah. And then remaining thing same, 1 by M1, 1 by M2. So the current finally will be equal to F M1 by M1 plus M2 into BL. So this is the final current. Okay. Now, if you are asked what is the final acceleration, substitute back the value of current to get the final acceleration. That's it. But imagine a case in which you are asked to find out as a function of time. I'm telling you again and again, repeatedly, I'm telling you that these kind of things will normally not be asked as a function of time. But if at all it is asked, you have no choice other than to solve differential equation. In that case, what you will do, something similar to what we did previously. So there is this external force. There is BIL. So you have to write mass into acceleration equation for both. So M1 A1 is equal to BIL, M2 A2, F minus BIL. And then BL into V2 minus V1 is the net EMF. Net EMF divided by resistance. And that is equal to current. Again, you subtract these two equations after dividing it by mass. So you get A1 minus A2. Let's put A2 minus A1. So A2 minus A1 will be equal to F by M2 minus BIL by M2 minus BIL by M1. So this way we will write it as d by dt of V2 minus V1 into the current. And how much is the current? Current is equal to BL into V2 minus V1 by the total resistance, which is 3R. So you get a differential equation in V2 minus V1. So you can take V2 minus V1 as X. So you get d by dt of X as. So let's call this to be constant. Again, you get the equation of the form of x equal to some x naught into 1 minus e raised to minus t by tau, something like this. So this kind of equation you will get upon integrating. This is a very simple integration. You have done it at least 1 million times. But again, I'm saying this is normally not required. What is not required is normally like find out the final acceleration and all those things.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so then let me give you a question then. One second. 2.12.53. It's a long question. It won't come in one time only. Read this part.
Yes.
You just change this minus z to plus z because inside into the plane will be plus z.
Sir, minus jk means it will be up, sir.
It will be down now. Once again, let me check. I forgot the directions. And this is the question. So I'll put it in two parts actually. Yeah, minus jk means up. I think, yeah, correct. I think this way it will be better. It is a comprehension question. Is it visible or like is it becoming like too small?
Sir, visible, sir.
Okay.
For one, I'm getting clockwise.
Actually, it's a multiple thing.
Sorry, sir, I did not see.
BC, BC.
Incorrect
Sir.
and multiple. Okay, BC you are getting for first one. Okay.
I'm not sure.
Not sure. I'll just drink water and come.
Sir. Sir. Sir.
Okay, so
Sir.
anyone got?
A comma D, I think, sir.
Oh.
Like, steady state will never happen, sir. Like current will keep increasing in clockwise direction.
One second. So first of all, let me just correct the z-axis here. Well, yes, Danan, what were you saying? A
I
and D.
think A comma D, sir.
Okay, question 1. A comma D. Anyone else?
Sir, not sure, sir.
Okay. See, it's similar to this question, previous question only. And in fact, what you can do is, like this horrible thing is given. Actually, you can simplify, or you can make a similar kind of arrangement.
Sir.
Huh?
Yeah, can you tell like at some instant ILB will be greater than mg by 2 or less than mg, sir? Is that
Let me first simplify the things. So one simplification which you can do is see, you can say that this is one rod here, this is one rod, and you can say that this is string which is actually going like this down. You can say that it is horizontal only, and there is a block, and then there is a force F, and that force is mg by 2, sorry, mg. Same thing only will have here also. In the left case, this is m, and this is a string, and this is a block m by 2, which is being pulled towards right by m by 2.
Sir?
Huh?
So we are assuming that small m is not at all moving then, sir.
We are assuming that everything is moving.
So if small m is moving means then how tension equal to mg, sir?
When did I say tension equal to mg?
So no, sir, we are taking a small mg force on the right side, no, sir.
This mg, the downward mg.
No, sir, small m is having some acceleration means the tension will not be equal to mg, no, sir.
Again, I'm saying that I'm not taking tension to be equal to mg. This is a gravitational force.
Like on the right side figure, you have put on right side mg, sir.
Okay, let me explain that to you then.
Like you've taken net force as mg2.
So the thing is, okay, what will happen? Let's say this is mg, and this is some BIL. Okay. So what do you write? Mg minus T is equal to MA, and you write T minus BIL is equal to MA. Any doubt up till now?
No doubt here, sir.
So now you add, so you get mg minus BIL divided by m plus m is equal to A. Now, this situation I'm saying is analogous to, there is no gravity, and there is an external force mg which is there in horizontal direction. Imagine that both the blocks were horizontal only, m also and m also, and there is a thread. In fact, we don't need thread also, and there is external force mg towards right.
Okay, so now I understood, sir. I thought there's a constant force mg acting on that rod, I thought, sir.
Yeah. So now you understood, no? So
Yes, sir,
mg
sir,
minus
sir.
BIL. Okay. So ultimately, what you can do is you can simplify this and say that you have got only two rods. So that was just for, you can say, the confusion purpose only. All this mg is there. The effect is what we have to take, and the effect is very simple. So effect is that, so this mass, what is the total mass here? So this total mass is m plus m. The other total mass is, so this total mass is m plus m, and this total mass is m plus m by 2. And this force is mg, and this force is m by 2g. And again, the same thing like railroad. So these are two railroads. Now, if we see the top view, then we'll get the railroads. Then we got the two rods. Two rods of different masses. And under different external force F1, F2. F1 is mg, F2 is mg by 2. Now we have already done a case in which there was force on one of them. Here. We have already done a case in which one force was there, F. Now the only difference here is that instead of one force F, there is another force. If we have analyzed this part and we came to a conclusion, something, then we can do it the same thing here also. Come to some conclusion at least. And that is the conclusion which are being asked in the two questions. And no calculations are being asked also. Like you just have to analyze the situation, come to a conclusion, what is happening, and then choose the correct answers. And you can expect multiple choice, multiple correct type in comprehension of also. Nowadays it is coming. Paragraphs also having multiple answers. In fact, paragraph having matrix match also. So anything can be expected.
So in this case, ILP should be greater than mg by 2 and less than mg, sir.
What?
No, so I think steady state will be reached when ILB is greater than mg by 2 and less than mg, sir.
I. What will be greater than mg?
No, so that ILB, sir, that forced due to that induced electric field. ILB, sir.
ILB. Okay. ILB. ILB will be greater than mg.
Greater than mg by 2 and less than mg, sir.
Okay. So you are saying that their acceleration will become same again.
So U relative should become same again, sir. That case only steady state will be reaching, sir.
Okay. Anyone else having any other conclusion or same conclusion? So think about it. Now that the process is simplified and it is like only 2 rods case now rather than 2 rods, 2 blocks, only 2 rods. Think for a minute and try to answer at least first part. What is first part? Let me just check here. How is the magnetic field? Upward or downward? It is minus J is upward now because J is downward. J is downward, so minus J is upward. Means out of the plane. Okay, so net force on the system is towards right. So ultimately, if you use the same logic that we discussed earlier, so whatever logic we had here, initially what will happen, finally what will happen, how the things will progress. So if you like analyze all those things, again you will get the same conclusion which Mr. Dayanand was saying, that acceleration will become constant for and same for both of them, and that they will have a constant acceleration, same acceleration towards right, and that you can find out. So how?
mg by 4m, sir. For
Is it
capital.
initial center of mass acceleration, sir.
Yeah, initial center mass acceleration, because center, correct. So you can say yes, initial center mass acceleration will be mg by 4 is the net force. So net force by net mass.
It was mg by 2, sir.
Net force, yeah, sorry. Net force is mg by 2, 3m by 2 plus 2m. So this will be the final acceleration. Both will be accelerating towards right. Okay. Now, who will have a higher velocity? Rod 1 or rod 2?
Sir, rod 1.
Rod 2, sir. Rod 2, sir.
Yes, sir, 2.
Who is having initially higher velocity? Same one will be having finally also like same higher velocity only.
2 only, sir.
Okay. So initially BIL is 0. Because initially BIL is 0. So we can say that F1 is the only force on m plus m. F2 is the only force on m by 2 plus m. So what are their acceleration? mg divided by m plus m, or mg by 2 divided by m by 2 plus m. So let us say one is greater than the other. So maybe we need to check actually here. So if we assume that like one is greater than the other, then we can say that m by 2 plus m should be greater than half of m plus m, which means m should be greater than m by 2. So which is always true, which means this part, this is, let's call it a1, sorry, a2, this is a1. So a2 is always greater than a1. I mean initially, sorry, initially a2 is greater than a1. a2 will reduce slightly, a1 will increase slightly, and both will become same. The higher one is going to reduce, higher one is a2. So v2 will be more as compared to v1. So the area will be increasing, because of which the current as seen from top, it will be clockwise. So finally there will be a clockwise constant current after a long time. So clockwise constant current is there, isn't it? Yeah. So which of the options are incorrect? That is what we need to choose.
Sir, found the correct option, sir. That is A, sir.
Okay. So answer is B, C, and D.
Sir, steady statements, it's for motion also, sir.
No. Actually, this is a steady state only for current. Like current is, if you plot current, then the current will be like this. So at a steady state, there is a one single value of current. So this is a steady state for current. Huh? For motion, is it being asked like what is a steady state velocity? In that case, we can check whether the velocity is reaching the steady state or not. but the difference in velocity is reaching steady state. Difference in velocity is becoming constant. Are you okay with this?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Okay. In fact, you can find out the current also. So from this only, like equating the, where is it? Equating the final acceleration with the help of this BIL force and BIL force, you can find out the final current also, which will be one single constant value. Okay. So this is what it is in motional EMF. Now, sometimes you have to find the motional EMF. Students get doubt in finding the motional EMF also. So just try this. That there is a magnetic field into the plane. Now, in this case, there is no current because the circuit is not complete. This is just a moving conductor. And in case of moving conductor, sometimes it becomes difficult to find out the motional EMF. So in those kind of situations, what to do? So let's say this is a rod AB, and this is of length L. And let's say the top part is having a velocity V. The bottom one is having a velocity of 3V. Find EMF between A and B. So given that this is a conducting rod, find motional EMF between A and B. And there is no current. There is no resistance. There is no circuit completion. So this just becomes a battery. See, previously what we did, we gave a rod a velocity. So it became a battery, like plus minus kind of thing. And then we completed the circuit by putting some resistance. This time the circuit is not getting completed. Just a single conductor moving in a magnetic field.
Sir, here will it also rotate, sir?
Yeah. So obviously, because velocities are given different for different points.
Yes.
So it means that rotation is also happening. Yes. Sorry.
So I'm getting 5/4 BVL.
5/4 B. Got it.
Okay, sorry.
So anyone got the answer here?
I'm getting
Two
2
BVL,
BL.
sir. Two
Sir.
BVL, sir.
2 BVLs.
2 BVL.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
So one small doubt, sir.
Yeah, tell me.
So for a rod undergoing pure rotation about its center will have zero induced EMF between the two ends, sir.
Yes.
Then I'm getting two BVLs.
Okay. There are many ways to do this question. So, what is the way like you all are doing? I don't know. Can you one of you like tell me?
Try to
How
use axis of rotation and then apply that formula.
B omega
What
is equal to
formula?
2.
Like about axis of rotation, if it's omega means it's b omega L square by 2. So like at a distance, potential difference if it's rotating with omega.
But it is not only rotation, na? Like, or there is a translation also.
Instantaneous axis of rotation it took and then applied.
Okay, so here you have found out first the instantaneous axis.
Yes.
Okay, where did you get that?
Like above a square at a distance L by 2.
Okay.
Sir.
Hmm?
So I took it as equivalent to centromas having 2V and the two ends having V and V in opposite directions.
Okay. Yeah. So
Because
that is
of that
also
V and V, there will be zero EMF, sir. So because of 2V and the EMF will be induced, sir.
correct. So that is also one way. Yes. So what he is doing is, so some is taking instantaneous axis, some is saying that there is a center of mass velocity VCM, and then there is a rotation about center of mass. So for rotation about center of mass across the ends, there is no EMF. So only the translation about center of mass matters. Other is saying no, I will take instantaneous axis.
Both will do same. Because here also VCM will get us 2 VCM.
Yeah.
About
So here you will do B omega L by 2 whole square by 2 and B omega 3L by 2 whole square by 2, and then you will subtract. That is the answer. And omega is equal to 2V by L. Yeah, so as I said, like multiple ways, like there are a couple of more things also that we can do here. So, but I feel that if you are able to do this, then mostly like you will be able to find out the motional EMF. Sometimes it's given that there's a ladder which is sliding. So this kind of ladder will be given to you. And it is sliding with a velocity V. This angle is theta. Find the motional EMF across AB. So if you are able to do all these things, then in the next class we'll start with induced electric field, the second part of EMI chapter. We'll stop here.